In December of 2023, a simple question was placed in front of Apple's leadership. Was the company falling behind in artificial intelligence? The answer came quickly and confidently. There was no concern, no hesitation, and no admission of weakness. The tone suggested that everything was proceeding according to plan. At that moment, the world of artificial intelligence was entering a new era. Large language models were accelerating at record speed. Virtual assistants were evolving into reasoning engines. Code, writing, design, and search were being transformed almost overnight. Major technology firms were entering what many described as a modern arms race for intelligence itself. Yet Apple remained quiet.
So many people associate Apple and AI with Siri since plus 10 years ago now.
Sure.
And so there is a real expectation that Siri should be as good, if not better, than the competition.
Oh, and I think ultimately it should be. That's
but it's not right now.
That's certainly our mission. Yeah, but that's our mission. You know, we set out to tell people last year where we were going. I think people were...
While competitors released increasingly powerful AI systems directly into the hands of consumers, Apple continued refining its message without revealing meaningful progress. The company appeared to be standing still while the rest of the industry surged forward. At first, this silence was interpreted as strategy. Historically, Apple often waited while others rushed, then entered late with a polished product that outclassed the competition. But this time, something was different. By early 2025, reports began surfacing that Apple's internal AI efforts were facing serious trouble. Features that had been promised to customers had failed to arrive. Development timelines had collapsed. Engineers were struggling with technical limitations that proved far more difficult than expected. Executives no longer spoke with confidence. Instead, frustration replaced certainty. Inside the company, senior leadership reportedly described the delays as ugly and embarrassing. A major technology shift had arrived, and Apple was not prepared to lead it. Consumers were already noticing. The iPhone 16 had been marketed as a landmark device for artificial intelligence, yet users quickly realized that many of the advertised capabilities were missing. The assistant that was supposed to become smarter than ever felt no different from previous years. In daily use, Siri continued to disappoint. Then came the revelation that changed everything. Reports emerged that Apple had begun discussions with Google to use a customized version of Gemini to power future versions of Siri. The idea that Apple, a company known for strict control and independence, would rely on its primary mobile rival for artificial intelligence shocked the industry. This was no longer a rumor about delays or miscalculations. This was a public signal that Apple's internal efforts had failed to deliver what was required, on time and at scale. By 2025, Apple faced a reality it could no longer avoid. Siri's shortcomings were no longer a minor inconvenience. They were a competitive liability. Artificial intelligence had become central to search, productivity, and daily digital interaction, and Apple was falling behind in all three. At this point, internal solutions were no longer enough. Discussions began with external AI providers. Some negotiations collapsed under financial pressure. Others failed over questions of control and privacy. The cost of acquiring top-tier AI capabilities had risen into the billions per year. Ownership of the technology was no longer guaranteed, even for the wealthiest companies. Eventually, attention shifted to Google. The reported agreement would place Gemini at the core of Siri's most advanced reasoning features. Apple would operate the system within its private infrastructure, preserving its public stance on privacy. The intelligence itself, however, would be supplied by a direct competitor. This arrangement marked a historic shift. For years, Apple had built its entire ecosystem around vertical integration. Hardware, software, and services were designed together under one roof. artificial intelligence had now broken that pattern. The brain of Siri would no longer be developed entirely in-house. The implications extend far beyond Apple. If intelligence can be rented rather than owned, the entire structure of the AI arms race changes. Instead of every company building massive models from scratch, a small number of core providers could supply the foundation, while others focus on design, integration, and user experience. Apple's decision suggests a strategic recalculation. Rather than dominate the creation of intelligence itself, the company may be positioning to dominate how intelligence is delivered to consumers. That shift does not erase the embarrassment of falling behind, but it may redefine what leadership in the AI era actually means. Despite the failures surrounding Siri and Apple Intelligence, Apple's business remains remarkably resilient. iPhone sales continue to generate massive revenue. MacBooks powered by Apple Silicon gain market share through efficiency and battery life. Services remain deeply embedded in daily digital life. From a financial standpoint, the AI crisis has not shaken the company's foundation. The Google partnership is likely temporary. Internal AI development continues. A fully independent version of Siri remains the long-term goal. But the delay has already changed the competitive landscape. While Apple recalibrates, competitors continue refining their own AI assistants at full speed. More importantly, this moment may force the entire industry to rethink its direction. The assumption that every company must build its own foundational AI may be giving way to a world where intelligence becomes infrastructure, rented like cloud computing or search. In such a world, success will not be determined by who trains the largest model, but by who builds the most meaningful products on top of it.